where I'm going. You know what I mean? So,
Okay, 1 second. I am waiting for the notification, Brother Stanley from Facebook.
mhm.
And we are live.
All
I
right.
want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record, the People's Podcast with our brother Stanley today. This is going to be a great interview with full of energy. And this is a very personal interview for myself because this is the man, one of the men, the great men who helped train, shape, and mold me as a child, as a junior FOY, in my adolescence, that I am forever indebted to for your training and your love and your spirit, Brother Stanley. First of all, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, my brother.
Thank you very much. And man, just thank you, Brother Stanley, just for your man. It wouldn't the junior FOY wouldn't be the junior FOY if it was not for Brother Stanley training and guidance and chaperoning and driving us places. So I just thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
My sister Naima says, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, sister.
Rhonda says, salam, Brother Stanley. As usual, she leaves me out. Okay, Brother Stanley, my first question is for you. When did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Okay. Before I answer that question, if I may, by your permission,
of course,
I'm running this ship right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, first and foremost, I'd like to thank Allah for allowing me to have this opportunity in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and I'd like to thank the believers and definitely our leader in our midst today, the Honorable Mr. Min Farrakhan.
Yes, sir.
So, and also, I would like to just say that to all of the family to keep in prayer all of the believers who have been affected by this virus.
Yes, sir.
And so just know, let's always keep everybody in prayer, the families and all of that. So I did want to say that. And so I'll get right into answering your questions, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when did I first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Yes, sir.
Well, I first heard the teachings. I was a freshman in college, and I was sitting in the dorms one day, and young brother, I was 60 miles away from home, and I was in this little country hick town, and I was watching TV one day,
Yes, sir.
and me and my roommates, and I turned on the channel, and I heard the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan speaking at I think it was Kansas State or Kansas University. I was sitting back in my chair, and man, I became erect. You know what I mean? I mean, and many of you, you kind of relate, and to what my experience, you'll relate to it. Is that I never heard a man speak like this before.
Yes,
never.
Sir.
It was like he was talking directly to me, and I was like, wow, who is this man? Where is this man from? And I mean, he was answering all of my questions. He was filling my spirit. He was filling my soul. And is like we say, I was feeling him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He was speaking directly to me, and he was answering a lot of my questions, a lot of questions that were unanswered. And I said, and I didn't know nothing about Allah. I grew up in the church.
Yes, sir.
And I said, oh Lord. I said, whoever this man is, you're gonna have me with him one day. And then one of my homies said, well, he's from Chicago. I said, but it won't be in Chicago. I have relatives in Chicago, and we used to travel. And I'm from a small town, Omaha, Nebraska. You know what I mean? And so we used to always hear about the gangs in Chicago. So I was fearful and said, that's a place that I would never live. We would come and visit my family here in Chicago. But I said, Lord, you're gonna have me with him one day, but it won't be in Chicago. And so it was when I was in college and I first heard the minister speaking, and I was just astounded. I was excited, and I said, "Man, this man is awesome." So that was my first introduction to the teachings. Hearing anything about Islam ever, and then my second time, it's interesting because after I left the first college I went to, which was Peru State, I went to Lincoln University in Lincoln, Nebraska. And some of my frat brothers worked with a Muslim brother. His name is Brother Melvin Muhammad. He's in the mosque. Now check this out. And then I became acquainted with Brother Melvin. And how I became acquainted with Brother Melvin was through one of my fraternity brothers. But check this out. Brother Melvin's sister was married to my uncle, no, Brother Melvin's sister was married to my father's brother. It's my uncle. And then so my frat brother was like, man, you need to check out this Muslim brother, man. His name is Melvin. And so Brother Melvin, I was introduced to him, and I would hear him from time to time. I'd see him in passing, and because him and my frat brother worked together.
Yes, sir.
And so so that was my second introduction into the FOI and the Nation of Islam, So to answer your question.
Yes, sir. Beautiful. Thank you all for your comments. My brother Rashad said, make sure I give you the greetings. Thank you all. And
greetings to your entire family.
Yes, sir. Praise be
to
Allah.
Okay.
No, but Stanley, my next question is, you mentioned your frat brothers. What frat would that be, sir?
Now, the one and only,
yes, sir.
Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. In fact, I have one of my line brothers. He told me he would be online today. It was 6 of us. And that's my number 6. He's in New York, and so hopefully he's listening, because he said he wanted, if I say anything incorrectly, he's gonna check me on it. If you ask me anything about Omega Psi Phi, it's definitely our pledge period. But so Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
Yes, sir. And why did you choose to pledge Omega?
Well, see, I'm gonna keep it real plain and simple. I had 2 cousins who were Omegas. And then so my 2 cousins, and then all of the Qs that I had come in contact, because I'd always be around my cousin. It's nothing but, as we say, the bruhs,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I would tell you, always the conversation was, how are you doing? How is your family? Do you need anything? And it was always that type of conversation. It was always that type of interaction anytime I ran into the brothers of Omega Psi Phi. And then so that really made an impression upon me, because I'm the type of brother, man, if I'm hanging around anybody, I want to know that you're concerned about me.
Yes, sir.
And that has always been the conversation, always was, and even still today. It's how you doing, brother? How's your family? What's going on with you? And so that really attracted me. And then, so that, and then I'm gonna tell you another piece that really just blew me away when I saw the brothers stepping, my first step.
Okay.
Anyway, to answer your question, so that's what attracted me to the men of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. It wasn't anything phony, you know what I mean? So everything I felt was sincere. And I just had a desire to just be around people, man, who had a genuine concern about people, and was very concerned about me, so it was the questions that would always be addressed to me. How are you? How's your family? Do you need anything? Brother, call me. Here's my number. So that, I said, man, that's powerful. Because I sure needed somebody at particular times in my life. But, to answer your question.
Praise be to Allah. Okay, my next question is, how did your parents feel about you accepting the teachings?
How did my parents feel about me accepting the teachings?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll tell you, my mom, Christian woman, from Alabama, spookism, spookism sat in. No, my mom and my parents were concerned. My dad's concern was more so of, now that you finished college, now, you should be, working towards your profession, your career, and, trying to find you a nice mate, so then you can have, go into your next phase, family, home, family, community. Yes, so, because when I came into the nation, he saw how much I really loved it being in the nation. And he saw the time and the dedication that I had and the time that I put in. So his concern was more so of making sure that I had balance. He wasn't opposed to it at all. In fact, he thought it was a great thing for me. But at the same time, he thought that I should more so be working towards, like my career and not spending so much time at the mosque. And so that was a real concern for my dad and my mom. My mom, she was real skeptical in the beginning. like a mother, mother's always going to be concerned when you enter into something new. Just like when I pledged Omega, she was like, tell me something all about that. I mean, she wasn't with that. And when she first saw my brand, she really had a fit. She was like, no, you got to get out of that. But,
okay.
No, they naturally, as a parent, they had concerns because it was something new. You know what I mean? Something that was it was new to them. You know what I mean? So.
Okay, yes, sir.
You wanted me to expound more in terms of how they, well, I'll just let you lead this conversation. You are the interviewer.
Yes, sir. No, but the reason I'm asking is, first of all, I didn't know that you went to school in Nebraska. I'm assuming that you was from Chicago the whole time. I just knew that you wore gold boots when you trained us, so that was like a subliminal, to mentorship, I guess strategy or something to let us know what it was. When you came to Chicago, when you first came to Chicago and came into the mosque, who trained you? Like, what was the atmosphere like?
Oh my gosh, brother! When I first moved, and let me tell you how I ended up coming to Chicago, which is an interesting story, and that was a lesson in itself. And I learned to say never. So remember, I said I would never live in Chicago because I was fearful of the gangs, the big city life.
Yes, sir.
But I was always a soldier now, ain't no punkin' brother Stanley. Stanley's one of the nicest guys you can meet. And anybody tell you that about me. But anyway, so I was like, man, I'm not moving to Chicago. But brother, I met this sister who was from Chicago who went to school at Creighton University. And we became close, and I'm gonna speed it up and make a long story short. Your brother thought he was in love, puppy love, and she had got accepted into Northwestern Law School, and she said, man, brother, she said, I'm coming back I need to come back to Chicago. I got accepted in law school. And, you my man, will you come with me? And, I was like, I don't think so, but,
okay.
And so all the bros, we talked, I sought counsel with my bros, and, they said, Stan, if you love this woman, man, get up out of here. Next thing you know, Josh, I was on Highway 80. and I moved to Chicago. I moved to Chicago, and when I left Omaha, the brother said, let me tell you something, Stan, when you get there, report to the frat house. Now, the frat house at that time was right next to the mosques on 47th and Woodlawn. And so when I got to Chicago, I reported to the frat house. And introduced myself to the brothers, and the brothers gonna check you out. They checked me out, and from there they took me in. They took me in. Yes, sir. So.
Okay, no. Okay, so once you get there, you at the frat house. Once you come to the mosque, like, who was the officer? How did you become a lieutenant?
Okay. So let me tell you how I got to the mosque.
Okay.
So so the brothers that told me, once they found out that I was interested in Islam, and so they said, man, going over to the mosque next door. So again, I'm new to the city. My first place is I checked into the place where we lived, and then I went to the frat house, and then so I got acquainted with the brothers, and then one of the brothers said, well, man, go over there and meet your Muslim brothers next door. Never been to a mosque, so I go to the mosque. And I introduced myself. I, tell them my name is Stanley. I didn't say brother Stanley because I never referred to as brother nothing,
Yes, sir.
So, but anyway, so I went to the mosque, met some individuals, and I said, I'm in the wrong place. Because when I told them that I was interested in Islam, and the first moment I mentioned the Minister Min Farrakhan, they talked about him like a dog. And I was afraid, and I said to myself, I'm in the wrong place, because that's the man who woke me up. That's the man that I told you when I had first heard him.
Yes, sir.
When I was in college. So he just blew my mind. So then for me to hear somebody talk about what I heard, I was like, no, I can tell you straight up, I'm getting up out of here. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So I left, and then the brother said, well, you need to go down to Save Third Stone. So I came to the mosque, and but to answer your question, so the lieutenants at that time, you had big brother Richard, which was a blessing, man. And I'm gonna tell you something. This is called, it was all to me as I look at it now, and even then, as I began to go through it, I said, this is what I refer to as divine order.
Yes, sir.
To meet another brother, a Q, at that time was Geese Legs. We call him Geese Legs. Brother Richard. Well, in the mosque, we call him Eternal, but the Q is calling him Geese Legs, Brother Richard. He was the second officer at that time. Brother Thaddeus was the first officer. Your father was the supreme captain. And who else was at that time? You had Brother Minister Michael. At that time, he was doing processing. And some of the older elite fit, Brother Joseph. Man, Brother Joseph was an awesome brother. He was an elite 50 brother. So, but who the lieutenants, it was Brother Richard, Brother Thaddeus, who else? Oh my gosh, Brother Durrell. Now, Brother Durrell was my first lieutenant. So anytime I see Brother Durrell, I always refer to him as my first ALT. You know Brother Durrell.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Brother Durrell. So that was my first lieutenant. So to answer your question, that was my, those were my lieutenants. And so at a particular time, I don't know what the circumstances were surrounding me becoming a lieutenant, but I think it was basically, and I'm quite sure just the leadership ability skills that I just how I carried myself. So I think that was what kind of maybe attracted the leadership to Brother Stanley. Hey, this brother looked like he's sincere, he's serious, he's always happy, I'm upbeat. And then so when I became a lieutenant, I'm really a serious type guy. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm
Yes,
funny,
sir.
I like to kick it, but I'm a worker.
Yes, sir.
A dedicated worker. I grew in a household under a father who was a captain in the military. So I tell anybody, when you're working with somebody, man, you got to know something about their history.
Yes, sir.
So I come from a work ethic. My first job was picking cotton. My dad was in the military, my mom was from Evergreen, Alabama, and so we were in transition from Omaha to Little Rock, Arkansas, Evergreen, Alabama. And so I was raised in a family who had a strong work ethic. And who always put something on my backside when I got out of order, you know what I mean? So there was some serious family structure in the Smith family, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
Stanley didn't get paddles. Stanley got whooped with extension cords. So but anyway, to answer your question, I became a lieutenant, and Brother Thaddeus was the first officer at that time. Your father was a supreme captain, and that's how it all began. And Brother Richard was, like I said, the second officer. And then another beautiful thing about it is you had Brother Michael, who's now the investigator, Brother Michael.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Omega. That was special to me. Brother Michael, Brother Elbert, Brother Leslie. You had Brother Stanley, Brother Stanley if you see him.
Yes, sir.
Brother Stanley, another Q. Brother Clem was a Q. So it was like I moved to Chicago, and that's another thing about being in an organization. So I met support when I came here.
Yes,
so
sir. Yes, sir.
Mosque, and then I had just met Brother Leslie. Now watch, this is an interesting story that's going to trip you out.
Yes, sir.
So I had met Brother Elbert, Brother Michael, Brother Clem, Brother Leslie. So Brother Leslie, Brother Michael, Brother Clem, and Brother Elbert, they were all from Northern, Iota Delta, all
Yes.
kids. So when I get to Chicago, so I'm coming to the meetings, but I'm really kicking it with the Qs at this time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I haven't come totally into the mosque yet. So my first introduction into meeting Brother Michael, and I'll tell you an interesting story about investigator Brother Michael. Brother Michael, I went to his chapter. That's how I met Elbert, Brother Leslie on the Supreme staff.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's a heavy hitting chapter.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So when you travel and you call yourself meeting the Q's gonna check you out.
Yes, sir.
So my first introduction to Brother Michael, and the first time I met Brother Michael, the bros, sometimes they want to gang up on you. You rolling solo. You know what I mean? I was like a solo brother. I traveled.
Yes, sir.
The brothers after I went over, they said, brother, let me tell you something. When you go to a city, you see 200 brothers. I don't care. You go introduce yourself. You know, don't be scared because we got a thing in Omega. A lot of brothers, when they go over, it's scared to travel.
Yes, sir.
And we were taught don't put on no fraternity colors. Don't put on any frat shirts or nothing, especially if you don't know your history. So, I'm bold. I'm traveling. So I'm in a room of brothers, and I mean, I just told you to show you the beauty of Islam, though. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Of the brotherhood. And that's just the nature of Omega. I mean, that was then when I went over. It's a little different now, but still, it's can be kind of the same. But anyway, to make a long story short, I encountered Brother Michael. Yes, me and Brother Mike, we like brothers today, and even after the situation, he slapped me. Yeah, I said it, Brother Mike. So if he would start laughing if I told you the story. Yeah, but Brother Michael slapped me. I mean, seriously, aggressively.
Yes, sir.
Out of me.
Yes, sir.
And so we got in the tussle, me and the Qs. Again, yes, I'm new to the city, coming to the mosque. And then so that's how I met Leslie, Brother Albert, Brother Clem, Brother Michael, and Brother Stan was their big brother, like their big thing, like their captain.
Yes, sir.
So, and then so so to make a long story short, we had developed a bond, and then we all ended up being in the mosque together, so that was special. And we all ended up becoming lieutenants. So for me, that was real special to be associated with a group of men who I was familiar with. You know what I mean? And even though I had met them, but that Omega program is a rigorous program and it builds brotherhood. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Our
sir.
motto is friendship is essential to the soul. So remember I said everything for me as I was coming into, as I'm learning more about Chicago, meeting more Omegas, and then even coming into the mosque and learning the culture of being in the mosque, because that was a total culture shock to me when I first came to the mosque.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I remember I had on some shorts and a frat shirt, and I walked into the mosque and they said, attention prayer. So I'm still talking to everybody is quiet. I'm like, what's going on? But so I'm just giving you some context in terms of my introduction into Chicago and coming into the mosque and being a lieutenant. So we all became lieutenants, man, and it was a blessing. But when I talk about this is divine order,
yes, sir.
For me to be associated with a group of men that I'm familiar with, and then I began I began meeting other brothers, but to be around, it was just special. It's special, and and then the second officer was an Omega. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it's like Allah put a shield of protection over me, not without me not really even knowing it though, for a minute. But then I began to realize, I said, man, this is really something special and divine for me to come to a city and I meet a group of brothers who now we also even a part of something bigger and more so, bigger than Omega Sci-Fi.
Yes, sir.
And we can relate, on Omega's level, and then also, and we're encouraging one another to live this life of Islam, and live a righteous life. That was just beautiful for me, man. So to answer your question about the lieutenant piece,
okay, excellent.
And then we just jailed, you know what I mean? Because and the beautiful thing about it, because players in Q, you got beat for everything. So then we used to always talk about, man, this is beautiful, man. We were used to getting assignments, because that's when as a player too, that's all you get, assignments, assignments, and get your backside beat.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wood it up 24/7. But the thing that we talked about is that this is so beautiful, and we looked at it from a divine perspective, is that Omega prepared me for the nation. Omega prepared Brother Michael for the nation, because I said, you know what, y'all notice we just get beat when we got assignments. I said, we ain't getting beat in the nation. You know what I mean? We get assignments. We can handle it. But anyway, to answer that question, man, I'm not. You just got me stimulated, man. You got my mind.
Okay, praise be to Allah.
I'm just excited, brother. So I'll just let you continue to ask questions.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully, I won't, be long-winded.
Oh, no, thank you. No, thank you, sir. And thank you all for watching. Brother Yusuf says Q Mark Diesel saying Q. No, he's quoting some things. I'm sure from your poems. Walaikum salam, sir. Sister Nina, walaikum salam. Sister Teresa Pearl, Purple and Gold. They're reflecting on the doorman. It was so much. I'm coming back. I got two questions. They're saying RQQDY, RQQ. Okay, so back to you getting smacked. How did you? Once you got smacked, y'all became friends after that? Is what you're saying? Or
I'm gonna tell you something. After that night, let me tell you something. Hear me well. Now I'm just new to Chicago, and so like I told you, I had a fear of the lifestyle. So Brother Stanley, the brothers back home, we refer to the Qs as the bros. They'll tell you that Stanley always had something on him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I went to my vehicle.
Yes, sir.
And I said, you know what? I'm about to blow this place up. Seriously. I left. They still in the apartment. The party is going on, but the initial transaction took place, in one of the apartments,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The brothers was doing ungodly things, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So we got in a scuffle and I ended up leaving. In fact, I ended up having to go to the hospital. And then from the hospital, I came back. And I was gonna make a demonstration.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But then I went back into the environment, put my little whatever I had away, yes, and I started talking to more brothers. So more brothers. So like, hey, brother, who are you? I began to mingle with more brothers, and so I had not seen Brother Michael never again after that night until one day I was at the mosque. Mind you, I'm lieutenant, and I see Brother Michael walking on the property. And as he gets closer to me, I'm like, that's the brother that I got into it with. You know what I mean? And the first thing he came to me, he hugged me and said, man, I apologize, brother. And then he hugged and he said, you know how the bros are, you know what I mean? You traveling, bro, bros kind of got a little buck wild that night. And I'm like, yeah. And it was like everything was squashed immediately because in my mind, knowing where I was at, because at that time I had come on in. So, I'm like, had made my decision, you know what I mean? To go ahead and live this lifestyle. And then for me, in terms of how I viewed Brother Michael was that for a man to come this way, coming to Islam, coming to the mosque, that says to me that says a lot about this individual. He's seeking knowledge. He's seeking to, to elevate, to come and change his life and, to be on a different pathway. So immediately we embrace, like, because the only thing about the Qs, the bro's gonna get physical with you.
Yes, sir.
I mean, that was just the culture when we went over, me and Mike.
Yes, sir.
That's just the culture, bro. We ain't doing no talking. Let's go in and take it out to the grass, So that was the era that me and Mike came into, So we kind of understood and we embraced one another immediately when we saw one another at the mosque. And so from there, hey, we all good. We all good. You know what I mean? So we still, I see the screen look like it's froze right now. You still with me? We together? Josh? You there? You there?
Stanley, can you hear me?
Brother, I can hear you. I hear you well.
Okay, perfect. Okay, yes, sir.
But I can't see you.
Okay. Oh, bro. Oh, not today, bro. Stanley. All right, here we go. Boom.
We'll get it right.
We had a little.
We'll get it right.
Yes, sir. Okay, bro, Stanley. Jesus Christ. Okay. Okay, so bro, Stanley. Boom. Right here.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother Mark Diesel, for that. Okay. My next question is, what was it like meeting the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for the first time?
Oh, brother, it was like heaven. It was like, man, it was like something that he was like, brother, it was so when I came into the mosque at that time, it was like me and you one on one. You know what I mean? He would come and sit with the lieutenants, and man, I was just in awe, just to be, in a room with this man, and it was like unbelievable. It was unbelievable, but it was like I've always believed in God, and like I said before, when I first heard that man, and I'll never forget saying that I said, Lord, you're gonna have me with that man one day, but it ain't gonna be in Chicago. And then to eventually sit in a room face to him. I mean, literally. I mean, because at that time he was coming in teaching and training the lieutenants. So man, I'm on 20. You know what I mean? I'm ecstatic. Yes, now, I've always been a hyper type guy. You know what I mean? I've always been hyper. Anybody that know me know that I've always had nothing but energy.
Yes, sir.
In fact, and I'll give you an example. I smoked some weed one time in my life.
Yes, sir.
So for those of y'all listening to me, I did say one time in my life. My mama gave me some weed, and I'll never forget. I'm sitting in the vehicle with the brothers, and I'm looking at them. I'm just like, damn, all y'all look like mummies. Y'all moving like mummies. I said, man, whatever y'all gave me, don't ever get this to me ever again. There was some weed. And I'm like, man, I'm a hyper type guy. You know what I mean? Don't ever give me no weed ever again. So I never smoked. But so back to my point is, man, I was ecstatic. I was like just elated, man. Just thanking God for allowing me to be in a setting like this.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, it was interesting.
Okay.
I'll never forget it.
Praise be to
many other moments.
Yes, sir. No, my next question was, Sister Brenda said that you to ask you a question about a dream that you had that you told the minister about a dream that you had saying calling you Stanley.
Oh, okay. Oh man, that's deep. Sister Brenda. Wow. We were in a meeting one day, Brother Joshua.
Yes, sir.
And my mother, so I was in college at the time. My oldest brother was in law school. And I was like 60 miles away, and my brother was like maybe 2 hours away. So I don't know. It was, well, anyway, I came home on the weekend. And I don't know if any of you you've experienced a long day where you just felt distressed, tired, and sleepy. So I'm in a meeting, and so I'm explaining this to the minister, but I'm giving you the backdrop.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What occurred. So I came home from college, and my brother was home from law school, and I was really tired this particular day. So I came in, and I went straight upstairs, and I went to bed. So my oldest brother and my mother was in the kitchen, and they were talking. My oldest brother, I mean, he's a real serious brother. He's a judge now, but I mean, always serious. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Never played. I mean, serious. He's just another example of Brother Aziz, Brother Captain Anthony, former brother. I mean, they're just like twins, in terms of their character, how they carry themselves.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so I was laying down in bed, and I heard somebody say, "Stand." So I jump up, I'm thinking my mom is calling me.
Yes, sir.
So I jump up, I run downstairs, run straight to the kitchen. My mother and my brother, having dialogue. And I said, "Yeah, Ma, what you want?" She said, "I ain't call you." I said, "Oh, okay, no problem." So I go back upstairs. I get back in the bed. So this is me telling the minister the story.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm telling the minister, this is what happened to me. And so I went back upstairs, and I get back in bed. I go into a deep sleep. Stand. I jump up. I run downstairs. I said, "Mom, what you want? What you need?" Her and my brother look at me. My brother said, she didn't call you, brother. We just down here talking. I said, okay. I said, y'all joking. Y'all playing. So I'm thinking that they want me to just come downstairs and just be social with them. You know what I mean?
Sir. Yes,
Because
sir.
I'm home from school and so I'm just thinking that they want me to. So I'm like, y'all just joking. Y'all no, Stanley, we didn't call you. And my brother, like I told you, he was serious. He said, brother, Ma didn't call you. I'm telling you that. She didn't call you. So I said, okay, I'm angry. You know, y'all did. Y'all, I'm going back upstairs. I go to sleep, right? Get back in bed, Stan. This time I'm pissed off. I'm mad. I'm mad because now I'm saying to myself in my mind, they playing mind games.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I go downstairs with a serious attitude. It's like, Ma, what you want? I didn't call you. I said, yes, you did. You called me. I mean, why y'all messing with me? I'm trying to get me some rest. You know, and I'm saying, man, I'm just trying to get some rest. Why y'all playing with me? So my brother, like I told you, he's a serious brother. He said, Stan, had that serious look on his face. You know how brother Aziz look at you, but
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When he's in that serious mode. You know that we all know that look, but
yes, sir.
My brother looked at me like that and said, Stan, let me ask you a question. When is the last time you seen a doctor and had your ears checked? So I fired back off him, fire off at him. My response, you know, I don't know. Why? But why? My question is, why y'all messing with me, brother? I'm telling you, me and Ma are down here having a conversation, and she not one time did she call you. You lying? You just. I'm going back upstairs and go to sleep. I said, okay, bye. But nobody called you, so I go upstairs. I go back to sleep. So I just came home for a day. I don't know if this happened on a Friday or it was Friday night or Saturday. But I went back to, at the time I was attending Peru State.
Yes, sir.
Now, Peru State was a small hick town, small country hick town. And so I went back to school. That Sunday morning, I went to church. And I'm like the only brother in the church, you know. I've always went to church because my parents, you know, I mean, they just embedded that in me, man.
Yes,
I mean,
sir. Yes,
growing up, there wasn't a time that I wasn't in church. Period. You know what I mean? You know, I just had that type of mom that you ain't whatever you're doing when it's Sunday, let's go. So
yes, sir.
Sunday school, church. So I never had a problem. I could go in anybody's church and sit in. But my mom always put in me, just go listen to the word. So I went to this church, white guy's preaching, and he says, open up the book of man, Sister Bronda, you taking me, you stirring up something in me, sister. So, but anyway, the pastor said, turn your book to Samuel chapter 3. And to give you to speed it up, he talked about it was Samuel, Eli, I think, was the servant, or Samuel was a servant. I'm trying to remember. But anyway, I'm telling the minister the story, and it was, I think Samuel was sleeping. I mean, the parable or the story was, Samuel was sleeping, and his name was called. This is me telling the minister this.
Yes, sir.
And he said, so he was sleeping, and so he went to, no, it was Eli, and I think went to Samuel. And so he says, yes, you called my name. And he was told, see, I'm trying to remember whether or not if it was Samuel or Eli or Samuel. But
Yes,
anyway, it was the book of Samuel. I think it was Samuel. So he went back to sleep. And he was told that, I didn't call you. And so I think Samuel went back to sleep. And so I'm sitting there, I'm just rocking in the chair, just, listening to this white man, And he said, Samuel. So he goes back and he says, I think it was Eli. He said, yeah, what you need? Like, what you want? And so this is the second time. And I said, wow, this is interesting. It kind of sounds similar. Sounds like what happened to me yesterday. At home, you know what I mean? And then so Samuel goes back. I think it was Eli was asleep.
Okay.
But anyway, so the person went back to sleep the third time. I think it was Samuel. He said, Samuel. So Samuel goes back. Yeah, it was Samuel. Samuel was sleeping.
Yes, sir.
He goes back to Eli the third time. So now, mind you, Eli knew that was the Lord calling Samuel. And so Samuel goes to Eli. And so this time, it was the second time. So Eli told Samuel, the next time you hear your voice, just say, yes, Lord, I'm listening. Basically, because Eli knew it was Sam. He said he knew that it was God sending Samuel a message. And it was the third time. He said, so the third time, if you hear, just open up, just say, yes, Lord, I'm listening. Tell me what you want to tell me. Like that. So the moral of the story was that Samuel, God told Samuel, was telling Samuel that, and what God told Samuel was that he was going to punish Eli for misusing the house of his Lord, for misusing the Lord's house. I'm freaking out at this time. As soon as I left the church, I called, and if I called my mom, if I gave you my mother's number today and my brother, they'll tell you verbatim. They will say, yes, that's exactly what happened. So I said, Ma, I said, remember yesterday I was asleep and I came downstairs and I thought y'all kept calling me? She said, yeah. And I told her, I said, well, the preacher today was preaching about Samuel was asleep, and 3 times he went to his master, Eli, and the third time Eli told him, just say, look, that's God calling you. Just say, yes, Lord, I'm listening. But the point was that he was asleep and he was called 3 times. And I said, didn't this just happen to me yesterday, Ma? I thought that you called me. I came down 3 times. And you and Steve, and you basically cursed me out the 3rd time. And she said, yes, I did. And I said, oh my gosh. And so, but anyway, I told the minister that story. And he said that was God calling me. And he said, and I never forgot it, he said, every time your name is mentioned, stand. He said, I want you to listen. And he said, and pay attention. And I just looked at him and I said, wow, that's deep. You know what I mean? And he said, every time your name is mentioned, pay attention, listen, and just pay attention. And I said, wow. Yeah, so that's, thank you, Sister Brenda.
Okay, excellent. Okay, my next, and thank you all for continuing to watch People's Podcast. Brother Durst says he loves that. Thank you very much, sir. Welcome to Brother Razak. And thank you very much for Mark Diesel's comments as well. My next question for you, sir, is have you, because you pledged, and I gotta say this because you mentioned something which is not a coincidence. Brother Dennis, who used to beat the hell out of me and many of the GFY and MUI, was a Q. Brother Elbert beat the hell out of me and a lot of the GFY was a Q. So apparently y'all just believe in beating kids because I was like, man, I was like, Brother Elbert is a Q, brother Thaddeus, or okay, I don't know what Brother Thaddeus was, but he used to beat us too, so whatever, but it makes sense. Because you were trained like that, you came up through that training, then you in Chicago, you used to pick cotton, so you seem to be very fearless. Was there ever a time that you faced fear in Chicago? Maybe a death threat or had to overcome fear? And if so, how did you overcome that?
You mean while being out of the mosque or in the mosque?
Both.
Okay. Well, I'll just tell you this. So when I moved to Chicago, I'll give you two. I'll just tell you this. Everybody has fear, but I think it's a certain type of fear. You know, like in terms of me being fearful of another man, in terms of, testing your manhood and on that type of level, I ain't never been fearful. But the minister said it's best is like when you're doing wrong, and when you run into a man like Brother Anthony, that's when you're going to be fearful. You know what I mean? So that's the type of fear that I got on that type of level. But in terms of really being fearful of an individual, nah. Because I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something about your little brother. And for those who are listening, you know, all of those who are not with us, I know you're gonna put this on record, and that's okay. Because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says, and he teaches us that you don't have to worry about a goddamn thing, excuse my language, as long as you're striving to be right and you're doing right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, your little brother, you know, as my dad would say, Stan is an open book. You know, you ain't got to wonder about him. What you see is what you get. What you get is what you see.
Yes, sir.
But all of the bros back home that know me, did I tell you that my number 6, he might be online, because he said if he gets online, if I say anything that might be off point, he said he's gonna point it out and let you know.
Yes, sir.
To correct me. But I'll just say that from the age that I can recall, literally, and it was by the grace of God that really one day I said, you know what, put it away. I used to carry some things.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so when I moved to Chicago, like I said, I was like a little fearful of the gangs. So at that time, the bros used to hang out there's a club called Reds right down the street from the mosque. Now, little did I know, you know, I'm starting to beat bros, you know,
yes,
meet
sir. Yes,
kids.
sir.
A lot of bros on the police force, a lot of bros in them street gangs.
Yes,
you know
sir.
what I mean? Seriously, that Omegas. Like every gang that you can think of in Chicago, there's a Q, there's an Omega that I know that still got them ties. And so one night we at the club, and I had on my gold boots, and one of the brothers was the DJ. He was a DJ at that time, during that time at that club. Another older brother was at the door. And so the brothers called me watchdog, because I watch everything. You know, I tell people now, you got to call me watch God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, because the minister, when your life changes, things change.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, I'm the type of brother, I kick it, but I watch everybody and everything. So this particular night, one of the brothers, this brother was like big brother, about 6'5", 300 pounds. So I'm inside the club, and I see he's standing outside. This is my first introduction to the gangs in Chicago. Wow. So anyway, so I look at, I said, man, I see a group of individuals surrounded this brother. So I walk outside. I said, let me go out here and see what's going on. So I walk outside. I was kind of tried to play it off like, I was off to the side, but I'm watching, and the next thing I know, a brother was in my face. Stone. And he just don't know, in my mindset, I'm about to let something rip. I'm about to let 15 shells rip. About to let 15. So I'm like, and? I didn't know what the hell he was talking about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, he was straight in my face. Stone. We know your boy. He all right. He good. And I said, oh, okay. And then so the older brother at the door, he looked at me, he said, come here, frat. And I said, yes, sir, brother. What's happening? And he said, all y'all come over here. He said, and he looked at me, he said, y'all come over here. It's about 10 of them. He said, frat, these are all my children. And I said, okay. And then he looked at them. He said, this is my frat brother. And they said, all is well. I didn't know what the hell they talking. I didn't know what was going on.
Yes,
but
sir.
I had come to learn that, there was some cues that was, still a part of them, that gang life.
Yes, sir.
And so even when I came into in the mosque, I would see a lot of these guys around the mosque. And they remembered me from that situation. And every time they see me, all is well. And because I'm gonna tell you something, maybe at that moment, had not that older brother, and he was an older brother, it could have been a situation.
Yes, sir.
Because my mind is, I'm quiet, but I let it roll.
Yes, sir.
And then so another situation at the same club. I'm with some crews. Some of these are police officers. We just hanging out. They didn't know this about their little brother from Adam. Okay, again, maybe I might be saying too much, but it's all that's the past. That's the past.
Yes, sir.
And so we coming out the club, and I mean literally there are 3 guys beating one guy up at the door, beating him out the door. And the bros grabbed me by the arm. I mean, everybody at the club running, saying, let's go, let's go. And I said, ain't nobody gonna help him? He's like, no, dog, let's go, man. Let's mind our business. I'm like, ain't nobody gonna help him? I said, no. So everybody just walking in. I mean, this brother getting beat, he all by himself. Man, I made a demonstration. All I know is clack, 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 clack. Everybody took off. That broke up the fight. That broke up the fight. And about 10, 15 minutes later, I get to the vehicle. They're like, Stan, dog, you this, you that, you for real? Dog, I didn't know. I said, man, I said, I'm quiet. I said, but I wasn't gonna let that go down. I said, all y'all saw that brother getting beat and wasn't nobody gonna say nothing. No, sir. And so that was one situation. That's outside the mosque. Now inside the mosque. I'll just say this. I'll tell you, there were times, listen to me well, and I mean through my journey in the mosque, but I've come to learn many, many techniques. And I thank Allah for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I thank Allah for brothers like Mark D, Richard, and Thaddeus, for the Minister Ishmael, Brother Durrell D9, Durrell. There's so many brothers, man, that I have come in contact in this nation, brother, that, man, I refer to them as golden. And I believe I will give my life. And if these are certain individuals that I know, but any brother that called me, you can call me at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to get up and come. But there were just certain brothers, man, that, man, it's just priceless. And sometimes I look at everybody as my brother. But I'm just going to tell you, there have been times, there are individuals that I could tell you I know. And for you young people, listen to what I'm about to tell you. Because I've had some trials, many trials. But I think that I have gotten better in terms of, and I know I have, because of the counsel and the training that I have received, not only from your father, but I'll just tell you, one brother that I think about him every day. You know, I don't talk to him every day. I don't talk to him as much as I used to talk to him. I used to bug the hell out of him. But this brother, I tell you, I think about, he's like the second person in my life that I think more so about, second unto the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. If it wasn't for this brother, I probably wouldn't even be around, because I would have let those individuals who I believe that are not in our nation to help build the brotherhood and sisterhood. In fact, they're there to turn people like me away. Like I said, you know, when I came to mosque, didn't know anything about the teachings or the culture. I'm just green, you know what I mean? And a lot of things that did affect me. So when I'm talking about the things that did affect me, I'm talking about people who came and dropped seeds on me. People who did things to me and it really hurt me. Some of them things, you know, I've always been a fighter. But when you come into the nation under the guidance of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and under this training, you learn, if you stick around, how to be a soldier.
Yes, sir.
You learn how to navigate.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You learn how to carry yourself. You know, those general orders are so profound. But going back to brother formerly the Grand Master, talking about Brother Anthony.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Brother
sir.
Aziz.
Yes, sir.
I've had situations, brother, where individuals have tested my manhood because when I stand on something, I stand on it, and I'm not going to get up off of it.
Wow.
When it comes to the Nation of Islam, and even though none of us are perfect, Brother Stanley ain't perfect. Lord knows Stanley got his ways. I mean, I know you used to think I was crazy myself, and many people thought I was crazy. Many people thought I was crazy. Many people still think I'm crazy. But let me tell you what it is but a lot of people that probably don't know this about me, is that my life has been changed and it has been affected by this teaching.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So when the bros see me, when I'm at a set, I'm stepping. And I mean, I'm like one of the step masters because I can throw down.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm stepping because I'm happy because I have been given something that has really given me life. And I have something really to step for now, for real.
Yes, sir.
Because there before, I was 7 days a week in the club stepping. I had moved to Chicago. This is just a sidebar. 3 years I had moved into Chicago, and my chapter brothers called me and said, "Stan, you're not gonna believe this. This sister had not been out to the club in 3 years." And Stan, she said tonight when she found out the Q's was throwing a party, she was coming out because she wanted to come see Stan step.
Okay, Mr. Okay, yes, sir.
And I had been in Chicago for 3 years. But back to my point is that I had an individual, listen to me, young people. And that's why, as a social worker, communication is so important. You got to tell somebody, you got to talk to somebody. We all go through things in life. So for the young believer, and even some old believers that come in and this is new to you, you gotta inform your leadership when something happens to you. Meaning that when someone comes to you, because at the time when a lot of stuff was coming my way, I know what the hell it was. I know bullshit when I see it. Excuse my French.
Yes, sir.
And I just say that I had to say it like this. And I'll tell you, I only started cursing at just recently in the hospital because, working in a mental institution, a psychiatric ward, sometimes you have to meet people where they are, and you got to really relate to them.
Yes, sir.
But I'm saying this to the young brothers and sisters in the nation. You got to go tell somebody when something is said to you and it disturbs you. I'll give you one example to answer you about the fear.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I was fearful, but I wasn't fearful. And I see this individual today. And when I see this individual today, but there are others, I give them the greetings. I smile at them. I give them cheek to cheek. But I will never forget some of the things that were done to me. But it's because of some of the training that the training that I have received, brother. I use this every day in my every practical day life. But there was an individual, now I'm not going to tell you who it is. I would never do that. But I did report them to our Grand Master.
Yes, sir.
Know that. So when I say tell somebody, you got to tell somebody. So, but anyway, this individual, one day, he took me out of the Muhammad University. And I was in a meeting. And so I'm like, what is it that important that you're going to pull me out of a meeting? And he played it real smooth. Took me out of Muhammad University. I want you young people to listen to me. And took me over into the Musala. And I said, what's up? What's going on? And he said, brother, I'm warning you. And I'm like, excuse me, what? I said, what are you talking about? He said, brother, listen to me well, I'm warning you. I'm a tough cookie. So I said, what you mean you warning me? Warning me about what? He said, you better slow down. You better stop. And I was like, what are you talking about, brother? I said, brother, you pulled me out of a meeting to bring me over into the Musala. It's just me and you telling me you warning me, you threatening me? For what? I mean, here's where I messed his head up. I said, well, let's see you say that to the officers because I'm going to report you. And then he said again, I'm warning you. I said, okay. And I'll just tell you, this individual, even when I was a junior FOI coordinator,
yes, sir,
I would see him go to some of the juniors, not just him, but others. But see, sometimes in life, man, you know what you know what you know what you know. When you get an assignment, you got to stay true to your assignment.
yes, sir, yes, sir.
There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. I know that part of my calling is working with young people.
Yes, sir.
So I fit right in. You know, I'm strict. I mean, you know, I'm strict.
Yes, sir. I'm familiar.
I'm strict. I'm no nonsense.
Yes, sir.
You know, you put me on a post, you got the right brother on post.
Yes, sir.
If you say nobody's coming into Minister Ishmael's office, ain't nobody coming to Minister Ishmael's office.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If you tell me nobody's coming to Brother Captain Grandmaster's office, you say don't bring no food in the mosque, you ain't bringing no food in the mosque. I don't care who you are.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't discriminate. I'm consistent.
Yes, sir.
You know, but that's just me. You know, that's part of my. It's you know when I go back to, I tell people you got to get people's history to know their story, to know why they respond and act the way that they respond.
Yes, sir.
But anyway, back to my point is that I have had some trials, and one thing that I have come to know that there are people in the nation that look like us, that wear bow ties and wear garments, but they here to destroy this nation.
Wow.
And so I'm the type of brother in the training that we receive, and that's what this brother, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, is a general, and he got little generals, and there's only maybe a couple that I really believe in, that I really believe in.
Yes, sir.
And who are really good trainers. And like I say, I keep reference this brother, and he makes himself of no reputation. And trust me, sometimes there are things that I have not liked about this brother. But one thing I do know is that he is a brother, and he does care about this nation, and he cares about people, and he's sincere, and he don't talk about it, he show it. And that's Grandmaster. So amongst many others, but that's one. I mean, I'm just talking about individuals who I've had that have really had that on hands training. You know, initially your father, you know, when I came in there, oh man, he's a teacher and trainer too. I mean, I could tell you some stories about your father. You know what I mean? I could tell you some stories about your father.
Yes, sir.
But anyway, but I'm just giving you this one particular situation. And this individual, not just once, twice, but many times. And there are many others. But I've come to the realization, and in my training, and in fact, I said to this brother one day, I said, brother, let me tell you something. Listen to me, young people. I said, I don't give a goddamn what you do to me. You could put me on top of the mosque, on top of the roof. You will never turn me away from this. You will not turn me away. And I said, I know who you are. I reported the brother, and I told everything what happened. Now, mind you, and again, to this day, I see the brother, I greet him, give him cheek to cheek. And so, but the minister teaches, don't go looking for nobody. The minister and Minister Ishmael, and man, that Quran, in our training, we're taught, the minister told us once, he said, don't go looking for nobody. He just read Surah 9. Read Surah 9, young people. That's what the minister say.
Yes, sir.
And you'll see those characteristics. When certain characteristics pop up, you know it's not that of a believer. You know the behavior of a believer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know the behavior of a believer. Don't go looking for nobody or anything else, but when it's anything that's not in accord with the actions and the conduct of a believer, go tell somebody. And it must be checked.
Yes, sir.
You know, because you can't let anything contaminate the body.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm that type of brother, man. I blow the horn. You know, so even in my frat meetings, and the brothers to tell you the chapter that I'm in, the chapter that I went to when I first came to Chicago, I'm still with them today, which is the largest chapter in this whole region, in our major region.
Okay.
These brothers, these was the Benny Mo bros. For real.
Yes, sir.
These were the many Benny Mo brothers, whom they said from the national chapters, don't y'all give them Negroes no chapter. Them kids, they ain't nothing but some thugs, but turned out to be some of the greatest brothers in the fraternity of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
Beautiful.
But yeah, I've had some challenges and gonna have many more because anybody that has a desire to help out in this cause in any way, whatever time that they can spare, whatever monies that they can spare. No. We gotta affect you in some type of way. You understand what I'm saying? Because
Yes,
we're talking about nation building.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're talking about nation building. And but again, through my training, and there's still so much more that I have to learn in terms of how to conduct myself as a soldier. That's why I got to attend class more. So I was last in class right before this COVID-19 kicked off, and
yes,
but I'll just say yes, I've had some trials, and I would just say to any young brother, sister, you're gonna have some trials, but no, stand firm and resolute. Don't let nobody punk you, because you can't punk Muhammad. Number one,
you can't
punk Muhammad.
Yes,
let somebody know, and if you got to bust that grill, if you have to, bust that grill, and then let the captain, the MGT captain, know that this person was really just too out of line. But only go there if you have to go there. I've never had to go there. But I've had situations where individuals have actually, gestured like this, Josh, in my face, purposely. But I've been disciplined enough to know not to respond. And I was able to call the guard and say, this brother just physically tried to threaten me, tried to pull me in. So don't let anybody pull you in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because the goal, as teaches the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, see, I might not be able to articulate a lot, but I know a lot.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Don't allow anybody to just draw you in. You know what I mean? Use your intelligence. Talk. Use the teachings. Use the tools that we've been given. So what I do now, if I see a brother arguing, if a brother even want to argue with me, you know what I do? You know the technique that I pull out, Brother Josh?
No, sir.
Let's pull out what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has given us. Let's use let's use this deliberative dialogue.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So if you went through that course that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan took us through, then I think we could get through this situation. See, but when individuals don't want to use the tools that we've been given, that raises a question mark in my mind. Sometimes, so again, I'm not perfect, but I do know why I'm here. And I'm going to do great things, but I just got to weather the storm. We got to weather the storm. But in order to do that, we just have to, because we're going to be met with trials. I don't know what other trials coming my way. Back to the question of fear. Yeah, fear is in everybody has fear, So I tell people, a lot of times people say, oh man, this is what I'll do. You don't know what you're going to do sometimes. Because I tell you this about Brother Stanley. I don't know what I would do in a certain situation, but I can tell you this about Brother Stanley. I'm going to do something.
Praise be to the Lord.
Don't sleep on your little brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm going to do something.
Yes, sir.
Trust me on that. But anyway, I didn't mean to be so long-winded, brother.
Oh, no, sir. It's all good.
But I did want to just take this opportunity to just share and to just say that, yes, I've had some trials. And there's been times that I've failed and have not conducted myself in an appropriate way. And I've gotten checked and I was taught and trained on, no, brother, this is not how you do that. This is how you do this. So the counsel in the nation for me, brother, has been great.
Beautiful.
Has been great. And even though some of the counsel I may have not liked at the time, but when I really look back in retrospect, it was all good.
Beautiful. Okay, excellent. And thank you all for watching People's Podcast. And thank you, Brother Stanley, for being so transparent, sir.
Oh man, hey, tell the truth will set you free.
Yes, sir. My next question is, what has been your greatest joy in your tenure in the nation, sir?
Oh, brother, man, you about to almost make me cry, man. Just asking me that question. Wow. What has been my greatest joy? Ooh, my greatest joy, brother? I love seeing people happy. I'm going to tell you something about my dad to just kind of give you a little bit of some more insight about your little brother.
Yes, sir. Yes.
in my neighborhood where I grew up, I told you my dad was a captain in the Army. The Smith family, any problems in the neighborhood? You know whose door they was knocking on? The Smith family.
Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My dad patrolled the neighborhood every night with a shotgun. So the gangbangers, people breaking in people's houses, better watch out for Mr. Smith. My growing up has always been, my father and my mother have always been active in the community. Have always been active. And my father, and so he embedded that in me. So that's another thing. When I came to the nation, I felt this was home, man, because a lot of my upbringing, the structure, I had that in the Smith family. My father didn't play, man. My father did not play. So back to what was the point I was trying
to
make?
The greatest joy, your greatest
So my greatest joy, and it's my life's work, because my greatest joy is seeing somebody happy.
Yes, sir.
The greatest joy is helping somebody. So one of the greatest joys in my profession, I'm working in a psychiatric hospital.
Yes, sir.
The greatest joy when if you and all of my co-workers would concur with what I'm about to say, from the psychiatric doctors, the medical doctors, the therapists, the counselors, our greatest joy is to see somebody come in who is psychotic. And then after the intervention, you see at the end, before they're able to walk out, because when you come into a psychiatric institution, you're not going to leave unless you convince your doctor 99% beyond reasonable doubt that you no longer are a danger to yourself, you're no longer a danger to others, and that you're not hearing voices. So our greatest joy is when you see them come back to some normalcy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So my life's work is always helping somebody. And so my philosophy is this: everybody deserves to be respected. If you're not going to help them, leave them the hell alone. So my goal in life, one of my goals, is to help people, because everybody is going through something and you don't know what somebody is going through.
That's right. That's right.
That's why anytime I see somebody, if they're a non-believer, I'm always asking them, how you doing? Because what you say can impact somebody's life. It can affect them.
Yes,
so I like to see people happy, man. I love to see people happy. I love to help people, you know what I mean? And so my greatest joy in the nation is helping believers. There are so many believers, brother, that that's why I said this is divine order.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I could give you so many situations, even a situation as of last week that I told you about.
Yeah.
A brother, so and so and so. If you knew, I said his name, you would know him.
Yes, sir.
Brother busted my lip. He didn't mean to, but young people, this brother, he's 21, FOI, got caught up. Somebody slipped him something. Yeah. Became psychotic. Ended up in the psych ward. And so I'm sitting in the report. We getting a report. Yeah, we got this brother Muhammad, young brother, and he's just psychotic, taking off his clothes, swinging on people. So I'm sitting there, man, Muhammad, damn. I'm sitting there thinking Muhammad. And I'm saying the whole time, hopefully he ain't from Muhammad's mosque. From Maz Mariam.
Yes, sir.
I can tell you many stories, brother, of young people from our family that I had to call the captain and say, look, I got sister so-and-so here, brother so-and-so, MTT, in the psych ward.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just as last week, we heard a situation, and I said, well, let me go over to the other unit, and because hopefully it's not going to be our junior FOI brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it was. So he want to break up out the hospital, you know what I mean? Just ranting and raving, very intelligent. I mean, he got the knowledge of self.
Yes, sir.
And so I was able to, along with my coworkers, to talk to him because he's familiar. We family.
Yes, sir.
I tell the workers, I say, hey, this is my nephew, and we talking, dialoguing. So for some reason he wanted to break out that day, Josh. So I said, brother, so at this time, you get ready to get a shot, brother. So, will you take it willingly? Otherwise, we're gonna have to hold you, and I'm gonna have to help him. So he gets irate, get to swinging, he busts me in the left. I was like, damn. So he didn't mean to. So, but the beautiful thing, back to answer your question, is when you see a human being get back to their normal state. And so the day he was leaving, we stood and looked at one another and hugged each other. And some of the people was glad that he was leaving. But we family. And he looking at me, I'm looking at him, and we hug one another. I say, I love you, brother. He said, I love you too, uncle. And then I look at him and I say, but when you get out of here, when I see you out on the streets, I owe you one. I owe you busting my lip. Then his father called me. His father called me last week and said, man, because I only talked to his dad once. His dad was like, look, you know the teachings, you know how you out there, you stand on your own. And hung the phone up on me. So, but this call was, thank you, brother. Thank you and the staff. And I said, man, I'm in the right place at the right time. So there have been many believers that we all know. And some of them will probably tell you, yeah, Brother Stanley. But it just happened. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. It's called divine order.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There's a old gospel song that talks about your steps have been ordered. And so I always think about, sometimes I get off track. The minister said, whenever your name is called, listen, pay attention.
Yes, sir.
And so once you've been given this, once we receive this teaching, it's nothing but success. If we go backwards, it's only because we're not following the teachings.
No.
You know what I mean? So every day of my life, brother, I'm so thankful because I tell people I got my real degree in me. Because the university I went to did not teach me what Mas Mariam taught me.
Praise be to God. Yes, sir.
So, but I owe somebody else thousands of dollars. But Muhammad didn't charge me.
Allahu Akbar.
So I got the knowledge of self from my own. I didn't get that in the university.
Yes, sir.
So, but again, back to the answer my question, is seeing people happy. In the nation, seeing my brothers and sisters happy. So anything that I could do, any brother that know me, any sister that know me, know that that's Brother Stanley. I'm going to help. I'm going to do something.
Yes, sir.
That's just me. I'm a worker. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Beautiful. Okay. Well,
I'm loving this, brother. So I just said, you asked me, could you ask? I said, you could ask me anything, brother.
Yes, sir. Well, I just want to.
Some things I might decline. I haven't declined yet.
I just want to inform the audience that the connection is that when the Junior FOI had a supreme captain, assistant supreme captain, minister, protocol, and it was a national structure of young men in every city, it was in fact Brother Stanley Muhammad that was driving us, training us, and taking us into group homes in the city of Chicago, some very dangerous places, and protecting us so that we can express our Islam. And you were hard on us in a loving way, Brother Stanley. So I have to thank you on behalf of every Junior FOI that came up under your training in Chicago and around the country. I mean, when you're taking us from city to city and the camps and the conventions, it's Brother Stanley that was protecting us, and we were very, I'm gonna say rebellious, but very strong-willed in our Islam and our expression. So for you to handle us in the way that you did, Brother Stanley, I didn't. Now, if we would have known that you, was going to shoot, or you know what I'm saying, if we would have known your history, we wouldn't have tried you up like that, Brother Stanley.
Oh man! But I tell you, I don't know if you remember this, Brother Benny. Man, y'all are soldiers. I never forget we were at this group home. I don't know if it was a group home. I know it was. I don't know if it was necessarily a group home. I think it was a detention center. It was somewhere. But anyway, just to shed some light on what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
A lot of times we was on the bus. But this one particular time, we didn't know we had a ride back from this detention center. If I don't know if you remember, but on that particular day, I told Brother Benny Jr., y'all know Benny.
Yes, sir.
At that time, I had $300 in my pocket. I said, well, we don't get no rides, but we just all gonna catch taxis back to the mosque.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But yeah, we was out there hitting it hard, man. We was hitting it hard.
Beautiful.
You know.
Okay.
But anyway.
Sister Sasha Smidget is saying y'all were testing him like he ain't been doing demonstrations. That's right. My next question is, Brother Stanley, what do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? Brother. You name it, I like to do it. I'm a professional photographer.
Yes, sir.
Professional photographer, videographer, musician. A lot of people don't know that about me.
I didn't know you were a musician. I didn't know you were
musician. Oh, brother. You know what? It was in 90-something we went to Detroit. It was when the minister was really ill. And we went to Detroit. And that was my first time going to Detroit. And so, I grew up in the church, brothers. This is probably what you don't. There's a lot that, to your little brother that a lot of people don't know. But I think, and that's what we need to do. We need to connect more with one another.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's why I thank you for having this People's Podcast.
Yes, sir.
You just got to take it to another level, brother. You know what I mean? And you will, because we have jewels and giants amongst us. And we just got to get more familiar with one another, because we all have skills and talents, and we all on the same team.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The believers on the same team.
Yes, sir.
So we just got to merge our talents, our skills. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sister Teresa Pearl wants to know, what instrument do you play?
I play piano.
Play piano? Okay, I ain't know that. Okay, yes, sir.
Yeah, but I'm more vocals. I play the piano, but just
you sing, Brother Stanley? Okay, Brother Stanley singing. Okay.
I ain't gonna do no singing today, but check this out. So when we went to Detroit, I asked a good friend of mine, one of my frat brothers. Are y'all familiar? And I know a lot of you are familiar with the rapper Rashid. We call him Common.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
His name is Rashid.
Yes, sir.
Me and his grandmother used to work at a group home together. And Mrs. Brown. But one of my frat brothers who I talk to almost every day. In fact, I talked to him today. So he did Common's third album. One day it'll all make sense. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So on that album, you got the Roots, No ID, and Spike Rebel. Spike pretty much did the majority of the music. He's right here from Chicago.
Okay.
So one day, I say to Spike, I say, listen here, frat. I said, man, I like to do something for my family. And Spike is a taskmaster. He's like, in fact, the brother who I'm talking about, Brother Leslie on the Supreme staff.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Brother Albert.
Yes, sir.
This is their line brother. So he got his degree in jazz. His main instrument is the acoustic guitar, but he plays everything. And so I said, brother, can we go to the studio and I want to do something for my family. I'm talking about for the believers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He said, Stan, you know how I am, man. Stop all that talk, just going into the studio and let's make it crack. Let's make it happen. So to make a long story short, Josh, I did a CD called Love Ye One Another. 13 tracks.
Okay, Brother Stanley, okay.
Hold up now. Check this out. We did the fight song. We did it a cappella version. We came the original way first.
Yes, sir.
We did not only the acoustic, the a cappella, we did a reggae version. Check it out. Check mic 1, 2. We did an R&B version.
Okay.
What you want to do? You want to keep rolling? Okay. Check this out. We did a jazz Earl Clue version. It's just straight acoustic guitar. We did a neo soul version.
Okay.
And in fact, one day, see, our job is to go behind enemy lines and establish a beachhead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the minister told us to all go back to where we come from.
That's right.
And our job is to spread the word, just being examples.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I have never not been around the brothers of Omega Psi-Phi, nor the brothers that I grew up with. But one thing they will tell you, they see a change. And so one day I was in the front house and I was playing I was playing the CD, and I was playing the neo soul version. The reason why we did so many versions is so that we could relate.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
So I'm sitting in the frat house, and I'm saying, I look at Albert. I said, look at Allah. I said, look, Albert. He said, I see. The brothers are singing, we are fighting for Islam. And they drinking and smoking, but it was that neo soul flavor.
Yes, sir.
But
yes,
check
sir.
this out. So when we did the CD, I took it to Brother Secretary Kamal. Brother, this is for there's so much to all of us. So when I took that CD to Brother Secretary Kamal at this time, took it to the minister and everybody, and Brother Kamal came back to me. You know what he told me when I got to Detroit? He said, "You go tell the final call that I said your vending is free for the whole entire weekend."
Beautiful, beautiful.
Brother Benny Jr. will tell you that's how his daughter learned the fight song.
Go ahead, Rusty. Go ahead.
So I have a children's CD that me and this same brother did. We have 25 tracks. Oh, you name it, I do it. I mean, it's hip hop, jazz.
Go ahead, Rusty.
R&B, some rap. Oh yeah. So he's the track layer. So I have a lot of musician friends that I grew up with. Mary J. Blige's former bass player is a good friend of mine. We call him Animal. He made $1 million playing that bass, but he's played for everybody. So I got quite a few, musician friends, but I grew up in the church, man. I'm a musician. And so I'm working on something, part 2 for the believers. And I mean, if you hear what I've laid thus far, you wouldn't be like, Stanley, no. People look at it like, unbelievable.
Beautiful.
So today I'm going to send you a track.
Please.
Is called We Believe. Listen to me, believers.
Yes, sir.
Y'all see, I might look like Forrest Gump. Your brother might not look like he's of significance, but I'm going to send Josh this track. Free of charge, no charge. When I send you that track today, Josh.
Yes, sir.
Anybody that desires to have it, send it to them.
Yes, sir. Okay, but a lot of people are asking in the comments, where can they get your CD from?
It's not online anymore. Brother Student Minister Abdul, he had helped me put it together online, and at that time I had it online. But yes, so as a result, when we did that CD, and people were shocked. And I mean, you still have a lot of believers who today, if they heard that CD, and if I put it in, they say, man, that's tight. Who was that? And when I say it's me, they're like, that's not you.
Yeah.
It's me. So so
they can't get any more.
I write, I play piano, and so inshallah, I'm working on something for believers that's really gonna knock you off your socks. And I mean, really, Brother Lewis Jr. used to always say, brother, that's your piano.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
At the Salam, and so I thank Brother Lewis, because every time he would see me, because when I there were a few times that I got on the piano, it was like, brother, get off the piano. And Brother Lewis said, no, brother can play that piano. He played the piano. They didn't play the piano. He said, brother, when you come over here, this is your piano. And so even today, if I go over there, I'm gonna sit at the piano.
Praise be to Allah.
Yeah, so I write, you name it, I do it. And so I kind of want to share more of that with the believers. You know what I mean?
Beautiful. Okay, so basically, y'all gotta hold off, because people asking where they can get a CD. He got something new. It's coming for us, and he's going to give it to us.
I got something. Now the old that I'm gonna give you, I'm just gonna give you one track today.
Yes, sir.
Because the whole CD is hot.
Okay, yes, sir.
Trust me on that. No. I'm of this school thought. I'm cut from this cloth. I'm a social worker. So in social work, we have a saying that if it's not in writing, it didn't happen.
Okay.
And so, but also, this is another lesson for the young believers. I want you to always carry this with you too. It's a technique that I learned somewhere along the way from the Honorable Minister Min Farrakhan, and in being in this nation, that I believe everything you tell me will show me. So with that being said, I'm gonna send Josh just one track, and you can that's gonna be the free track.
Okay, yes, sir.
It's called We Believe.
We Believe. And if you all have any inquiries about future projects, please go to Brother Stanley's page. Brother Stanley is one of my mentors, many of our mentors, but Brother Stanley's single, productive man out here holding it down. Thank you, Brother Stanley, for coming on the People's Podcast. I thank you all for watching. Man, bro, I just love you, man. I love you very much.
You too.
Yeah. And I look forward to interviewing some of your frat brothers, even the ones that beat the hell out of me at MUI. You know what I'm
saying? Oh, brother. I tell you, in closing, first of all, I didn't get a chance, so you didn't give me a chance, but it's all good. We can do a part 2. Give your father the greetings, man. Your father is a brother. And I tell you, I had, like I said, there were so many situations. Definitely give him the greetings. I will never forget the training that he has imparted in me. And yeah, there's so many stories. So we can do that another time.
Yes, sir.
But to the believers, in this day and time, we got the best thing in the world. You know what I'm saying? We have been given this body of knowledge, and I'm gonna tell you, I was looking for my shirt. I don't know where my shirt is. Mark D had a shirt made FOIQ, and on the back of the shirt it says Farrakhan is good with me. And just let me say this, and to the young people.
Yes, sir.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan told us to go back amongst our friends.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Our people. And all he asked us to do is just be an example. Let me tell you something. I've had some, you know, in the nation, and I'm gonna be real clear, and I'm gonna speak straight words.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You see, I got a fat shirt on now, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So all this is ordained. I mean, and I'm gonna put it in perspective.
Please.
When you find your purpose, stay true to your purpose. I'm always gonna wear. One day I had on some frat gear. It was over 10 years ago. And a brother called himself cracking a joke at me in front of the Supreme Captain, Brother Mustafa.
Mm-hmm.
And he tried to, and it was in such I had a frat shirt on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And he kind of slighted me and said, brother, why don't you have on, go take off that shirt? You know, why you wearing a Q, man? You a Muslim, you all, man, take off. And you know what Mustafa said?
No, sir.
He said, brother, ain't nothing wrong with him wearing his frat shirt. Brother, let him wear his fraternity shirt. Ain't nothing wrong with that. The colors of this, of Omega Psi Phi, the royal purple and old gold, has a significance.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna say it. It's the color of Jesus Christ's robe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Royal purple and old gold. You know what I mean? And if we understand the teachings, the Christ comes back to what? So this is all relevant.
Yes, sir. Yes,
it's
sir.
all relevant. In the fraternity, we have our motto is friendship is essential to the soul. In the nation, what do we say? We must be what first? Brothers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ain't no coincidence. We all one. So I don't let any people try to make it seem there's a difference. You know, oh, you rolling with the Qs, you rolling with the FOI. I said, no, I'm rolling with one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
So I don't allow anyone to even have that type of when they bring it. And I've heard people, you know, why the minister want to be a Q? He want to be a Q because he is a Q. That's what he was born a Q.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He also was born a Muslim.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You understand, but we're not going to allow you to cause any dissension amongst us. You understand?
Yes, sir.
We're not going to have that. So, but at the end of the day, I stand with the person that's right. That's the teachings. I don't care if you're a Q or a Muslim. I'm going to stand with the one that's right. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So with that being said, man, I thank you for this interview. You got to take it higher.
Yes, sir.
You got to archive all these interviews,
yes,
man.
Sir. Yes, sir.
And I'm going to tell you something. If you can, just keep it up. Not hope, but keep it up. Keep going. Don't stop. And there's some poems that I want everybody to get. There's a poem called See It Through.
Yes, sir.
I'll get that poem. There's a poem called Bridge Builders.
Yes,
get
sir.
that poem. And yes, Mark D, there is a poem called Don't Quit. Even though that you didn't learn that poem because nobody told you about it, there is a poem called Don't Quit. And get those poems. Get those poems. Give your family the greetings, brother.
And Brother, I have one more thing just before we go. I got to make sure I announce all of our great sponsors of this week's podcast. who are very enthusiastic about you coming on as well, Brother Stanley. Mm-hmm. Supreme Men's Clothing in St. Louis, Missouri, 10835 West Florissant Avenue in St. Louis. The phone number is 314-528-5555. Our brother in St. Louis always shows love, and he will keep you fresh, dripping with the new clothes. Designersofcomposure.com, Khalid's Boutique on Instagram. Thank you all for your support. Sister T of Venus Muhammad, Raising Black Millionaires. She does a great job of having
right now
for our children, for millionaires, to teach you business, economics, and empowerment. Make sure you look her name up. My sister Mimi's coloring book and children's book, ABC I Love Me, is on Amazon. My brother Rashad Muhammad put a street premiere video production. He has some great things that he's working on with the 4K camera, with the drone. This while everybody's quarantined, he got a lot of work on his hand. My second book, Cleopatra, it is on Amazon. Thank you all for supporting. Last but not least, my father's book, Soldier in the Movement of Christ.
Original salute.
GoodStreetMuhammad.com. Thank you, Dad, for your support. Thank you, Brother Stanley. If you all want to support the People's Podcast, because we make it based off of you, J Imagination on Cash App. I thank you all for your support. I thank you, Brother Stanley.
Thank you, brother, and I will support you. So I'll talk with you offline on, how you want that support.
Okay, yes, sir.
You know what I mean? And so and last thing is that your little brother is gonna write you a soundtrack for you have a soundtrack for your People's Podcast?
No, sir, I don't got one yet.
You don't? Well, on your little brother, I got you a soundtrack.
Hey,
so
okay.
give it about a week or two, y'all, and check out the soundtrack. That's all.
Okay, go ahead, that's why I love you, because you always been looking out and always man. I'm telling you, you were the when I saw I saw you come to Atlanta and they gave the minister the robe and you were backstage. I was on security and you were taking a picture with the minister and they putting the robe on. I said, Brother Stanley never wavered in his representing of the Omegas in the FOA, both when everybody was making it, like they told me not to play it. You know what I'm saying? We ain't do that. It was anti-Greek, like all that. And Brother Stanley had them gold boots on, teaching and training us every Saturday morning. So I thank you for being firm, because in the end you got vindicated when the minister put the robe on. So that was beautiful, Brother Stanley.
Oh man, I love you too, man. And this was a blessing. And everybody, y'all support this brother.
Thank you, Brother Stanley.
This brother. And I come to Atlanta. I haven't been in a while, but when I come also, you got a professional photo shoot.
Hey, okay, thank you, Brother.
On your little brother. So I'll give you my website also, so the believers can see my work as well.
Yes, sir. What's your website, Brother?
It's StanleyQimages.com.
Beautiful.
StanleyQimages.com.
Beautiful. Let's support our brother.
So it'll be up tonight. It was down for a while, but I'll put it back up tonight since I ministered. And I'll send you that track today, and send it to those who inbox you today, who say they want the track, and you send that to them today. But then you get back with me and you tell me if they say thumbs up or thumbs down. But I'll show you how I get out.
Okay, yes, sir. I look forward to it.
As the brothers say, Ru and Assalamu alaikum to all the family,
salam,
and let's stay strong. All
yes,
right,
sir.
let's support one another.
Beautiful.
All right, love you.
Love you more, sir. Assalamu alaikum.